Oh, hi, you guys. How are you?
Oh, hello. I'm doing amazing, Sharon. Thank you for asking.
I'm happy to know that. Kel, what about you?
Well, for all of our listeners who are listening around the world, all of us just went through a crazy ice storm,
We
and
Oh
did.
my gosh.
and I believe Sharon, I think you win because I think you were out of power the longest. Adam, did you even lose power?
I didn't lose any
Oh,
power. Bloop,
that's
bloop.
good.
Oh,
But you know what was what's the word? You know what happened? Because I didn't lose power, I wrote to a few of my friends who lost power. And everybody was like, "No, we're okay. We don't need to go to your place. We don't need your help. We're all good." And I was like, "But why? I want to, I want to help. Do you guys not want to hang out with me? Like, what's the problem? What's the deal? You do not have electricity at your place. I am offering a solution. Why are you refusing my help?"
Wow.
That's it. That's all I got.
that's-
That was my downside to
I
the
can't imagine why they wouldn't want to hang out with such
yeah,
settled emotion.
yeah.
I know. At a little condo downtown Montreal, they would have been all cramped up in a 2 bedroom, but it would have been fun.
Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah.
true. We were out for over 73 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just over 3 days.
Yeah. So you lose food in the regular fridge freezer after
Mm-hmm.
6 hours. And if you have a deep freeze, which we are fortunate enough to have, you lose that after 48.
So
So
you lost
super. And then
all
you
of it.
talk to your insurance company who tell you kindly that you are covered, but if you and you have to pay the deductible, and then if you do make the claim, then your rates go up
Yeah.
fairly
Nice.
substantially over the course of a few years. So
Yeah.
you're sort of trapped. And I'm like, well, why didn't I go into the insurance racket?
Yeah, exactly. I like that you called it a racket
It
because
kind of is a racket.
yeah. Yeah,
But
I lost the power for about 18 hours, then it came on, then it went out again.
ooh,
And
that's a
during the
bad one.
first go round, our even though I checked this a few months ago, our backup sump pump battery decided to die.
No.
And so
Ugh.
at 4 a.m. on
Oh
the
no.
day after like the lights went out,
Yeah.
'cause like yeah, so we lost power around 9:20 on the Wednesday night.
Okay.
4 a.m. the next morning, we discovered this was an issue in the and thank God my sixth sense was like this could be a problem. So we
Yeah.
started taking buckets of water out of the basement.
Oh
Oh,
no.
it was terrible. And then at 4:18, I realized this was not going to work like long term. This was not a long-term solution.
Yeah.
And so I had to wake up my sister and my brother-in-law at 4:18 a.m. Because I was pretty sure he probably had a backup battery that I could use.
Yeah.
And so while Elaine kept literally going up and down the stairs, like she was like an ant. She was like just like an ant, like just
Work,
going back and
work,
forth,
work.
work, work, work. It took me 15 minutes to get my car de-iced and then went like crazy, which was like at least a 12-minute drive to my sister's, if
Yeah.
not 15, and then got the battery, came back. First, I had to go to the farm because there was issues at the farm also. So all this time, by the way, she's like
Work,
going up
work,
and
work,
down the
work,
stairs
work.
with these buckets of water.
Oh my
And
gosh.
then I came back and we managed to plug in the backup battery. But then the issue is that the float that sets off the backup pump
Yep.
wasn't going on automatically. So thank God it was working with the battery, but every 20-25 minutes, we had to set the thing off, like to turn it on.
Oh my gosh.
So that whole day, like one of us had to be like around always. So
Yeah.
Elaine stayed at one point, then she left, and I stayed. Cause like, yeah, like you don't realize like every 25 minutes, it's a pain in the butt to have to like to keep starting this thing up. So
Oh my
we were
gosh.
exhausted. Plus we had the 3 huskies who then we couldn't get into the freezer to feed them because they're on raw food. And so
Oh
we
my
had to switch them to kibble, which then messed up their poor little tummies.
God. Oh, yeah.
So by the time the whole thing was over, and again, you were out way longer than me, Sharon. I was just exhausted for our like 24 hours of whatever we had of it.
It's intense, man.
Yeah. Because like we were fine, like freezing wise. It got cold, but it wasn't crazy because it's not January. But yeah, it was just trying to keep the sump pump and keep the girls fed and like their poor little bellies. Like it was just
Wow.
Adam, I should have called you for help, is what I
Well,
should.
now I understand why nobody wanted to come to my place. I mean, there was a lot to do at your place.
Yeah. And that's
Yep.
the thing. We felt like we were in it. You know,
Yeah.
like, okay, we're staying. This is happening. I mean, we left a couple of times, take the dogs for a walk. Our area, we lost a lot of trees and huge branches and stuff like that. So we took the dogs somewhere else and went for a walk and change of scenery and stuff like that. The civic center in our suburb offered a warming area and to charge your devices and stuff like that, which was great. And then, like I said, after it was Deb's birthday on Saturday, and we had dinner plans, and those plans changed, but it worked out for the best, actually, because we ended up at our friend's house and we could have all the same people, which was 10, and we could also bring the dog. So it was really nice.
Yeah.
It's amazing, you know, like no one was hurt. Thankfully, you lose some food and you just sort of have to brush that off because it's money you're not going to get back. And it's annoying because you did go to Costco and you did buy some meat and salmon and that's all gone. But we're all fine.
Yeah.
We
I'm
are.
glad we all, but it's what the thing too you learn from this is like how dependent we are on electricity.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like for the now portion of 90s now, let's even for the future portion of 90s now, here in Canada, they are forecasting having all electric vehicles by 2035, which doesn't sound, it's not that far away. It doesn't sound that far away. It's 12 years from now. And coming off of an ice storm where you've got no power, wouldn't that render everybody just stuck with your electric car with no electricity to fire it up?
Yeah.
Like, good luck.
Yeah. And it's crazy too that like just like, you know, you need this electricity and like everything you can't like I did my show prep. That's what I meant to tell you, Sharon, because I was on the air the next day and like I literally did my show prep like handwritten notes like I was in grade 11, like just writing out my show prep notes. And so I was like, how did people do this? Anyways, but I have to say it was actually very freeing to just have like handwritten notes. I was like, ooh, I feel like I'm cheating here. It was
fun, eh?
Yeah.
Getting sort of old school.
Yeah.
Well, for the show today, we have got some fun things to tackle. I understand we have a question from our mailbag.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
That's not a nice thing to say about Rachel.
Yeah.
I get it, our mailbag. Just joking, Rachel. So what we'll do is tell you which actor is dealing with a bit of the Green Monster about the sequel to one of his movies. There's also some sad news in the world of hip hop that we'll talk about as well. Kelly's trivia, a 90s rewind that'll take us back to the beginning of the end of our favorite decade. And you know what? There's an update on Amanda Bynes. So let's start there. I think we should actually start by wishing her well.
Yeah.
Because it cannot be fun at all to go through something so personal in front of the world. And I would venture to say unnecessarily in front of the world, but there's an appetite for news like this. I would just like to focus our slant on the well wish. I think we should probably give some background if people don't know what's going on. Amanda Bynes has suffered kind of a mental breakdown and she took care of business and got herself some help. Correct?
Yeah.
And she's making her way back out, but she's not in a rush to get out, which is smart because she's taking care of herself. All very good. For me, this all falls under it's none of our business. And I feel like we're prying because it feels like super personal.
Yeah. Well, did you hear of the original incident? Because I didn't, apparently it happened around March 16th or something, somewhere around there. That she was she called her own help in like after it sounds like she went into this mental situation, was a few days out on the streets is what it sounds like, and then eventually she herself called the police and asked for help, but she was found like roaming naked is what they're saying around the streets of Los Angeles. And so I didn't, but it's funny, like as you and I do this all the time, Sharon, like I didn't hear this story. Like we're always on entertainment websites. I didn't hear of this original thing. But then saw the news that she had this happen and she was in help, in an institution getting help, which again is amazing. And like you said, you don't want to know about it, but I guess because it happened on the streets of Los Angeles, like the words got out, right? So
Yeah, and I think that there is a, you know, the positive side of having this information get out is that um it's a sign of encouragement to anybody who needs help, that you can call yourself for help, that it's
yeah,
out there, it's available for you, and that's good. And so she can be an example in her worst of times as a source of encouragement. I think that that's great.
yeah,
My opinion on I think we should stop calling her child star Amanda Bynes.
yeah,
That's what the headlines all say, which I
yeah,
think is ridiculous. It's so like, if her name isn't familiar to you, then carry on. Do you know what
yeah,
I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's troubling because it's sort of like it, from to my sensibilities, it puts pressure on her as an adult to live up to child star Amanda Bynes.
yeah,
It sort of indicates that she's not succeeding now. Like, she can't just be Amanda Bynes.
hmm,
Of course she can,
yeah,
but that's how some of the outlets, the media outlets, will position it, and that makes me uncomfortable.
yeah. And she, she was she's anything I've seen her in, she's fantastic. Like anything
Hmm.
that I ever like Easy A, like amazing. She just killed it. And so we just want the best for her. And like you said, she is a source of inspiration because I think I'd heard that she has been diagnosed in the past with bipolar disorder, I think.
Hmm.
So I'll say allegedly because we don't know for sure, but that's what's being reported in the news. Um, but the fact that she is dealing with definitely some mental health issue, the fact that she did take it upon herself to call herself help is absolutely amazing because we've heard so many stories over the years from whoever
Hmm.
that if you're in a situation like that, it's often you're not in the position to call for your own help because you're not
Mhm.
capable in that moment. So I think that's something she probably learned over the course of her treatment over the last several years, that it's probably ingrained in her, like, "Oh, I'm in trouble. I should call for help." Like which I think is great and maybe a testament to the help she has gotten
Hmm.
to know I need this. I need help, and help me out of this.
I I read a book by Glennon Doyle, who has a really cool podcast, We Can Do Hard Things.
Mhm.
Um, and her book is Untamed. And in the book, she talks about writing herself notes so that if she
Mm.
gets to a downward side, the dark side, then she knows to go to a note and say, "You are this." Like, notes that remind you of the characteristics that you are when you're at your best.
Right. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
are smart. You are strong. You like this. You
Yeah.
like to tell jokes. You like, you know what I mean? Those sort of a checklist to sort of jog you back
Yeah.
into, not to be the only thing, but to remind you in a downward spiral kind of way. You need that encouragement. So if it's a
Yeah.
note from yourself, then it's helpful. I thought it was a great idea.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. I think a lot of journaling is great for anybody,
Yep.
It just keeps you honest because like when you're writing that, you should not be lying to yourself if possible. So,
No,
Mhm.
and I've never needed uh therapy. I am 100% supportive of the idea of therapy. Uh Therapy only works when you're honest. So
yeah.
you can go to a therapist and not tell them the whole story.
Yeah.
They're not helping you wholly in
Mm,
that regard, you know?
mhm.
But this is
Anyways,
the
Amanda Bynes.
self-help
Yeah.
section of
Help
90's
self-help
Now.
section of the show, but I don't know about you, but in a way similar to Britney Spears, I feel very protective of Amanda Bynes and
Yeah.
just like always want her to be well, especially too. I think I have these feelings for her and for Britney, knowing that they did not have a normal upbringing. There was so much
Correct.
pressure on them, especially
Yeah.
as females, to
Hmm.
be a certain way, to look a certain way, to not be a certain weight, and all
Yep.
that stuff. So I just think that nobody really understands what they went through unless you're a fellow person that like child star, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. No, and she was a child star for sure. I don't like the positioning of child star Amanda Bynes. She's
Oh yeah.
37.
Yeah.
She's more than what she was, is
Yeah,
my thing.
exactly.
So there we are. Next on the list of things that need fixing, Kel, we need trivia.
Okay.
We do.
90s now. Trivia.
Bing bong.
Well, quick recap that Sharon killed it last week, 2 for 2.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
funny.
yeah.
I was listening to the show in the car the other day and hearing your excitement over your, triumph of getting them right. You're like, look at me. So let's see if we get more of that this week.
Let's do it.
We'll start with the tough one. And by the way,
Uh-oh.
wait to read this question for you. Adam, please have nothing in your mouth because you might spit it out. You ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. This is art and literature. Which
Mhm.
British Turner Prize winning painter is best known for incorporating elephant dung into his paintings?
Sharon?
Go look at that face, Sharon.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's a total guess. Jackson Pollock.
No.
No, because that's from the 50s. I know.
Go a little out.
Is that is it a person we know? Like, do you know the answer to that
I
question?
never heard of this person in my life before.
I have another guess when Adam guesses.
Yeah.
So it's a British painter.
Well, it says which. I'm assuming it's British. Like which British Turner Prize winning painter? Yeah, that sounds So British painter is best known for incorporating elephant dung into his paintings.
Is his first name Dumbo?
No,
Are you sure?
I am sure. I just checked the.
Are you sure it's not Dumbo of Windsor?
Yeah. Is that your guess? That would be wrong.
That
though.
will be my last guess. Final answer.
Okay, final answer.
I have a guess.
Yes, go Sharon.
I know I don't get the points. Is it Basquiat?
Nope.
Damn,
Who is Basquiat?
you look him up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I've never heard of this painter, but it is Chris O'Feely.
Made up.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you're not wrong because O'Feely sounds Italian as opposed to British, but because it's spelled Ofili. To me,
Oh, Philly.
that's right. Anyways,
Well-
I feel like Chris should have maybe thought about some other element of nature that they could have put into, like.
To be fair, on his Wikipedia page, here's the first line. Christopher O'Feely is a British painter who is best known for his paintings incorporating elephant dung. We'll see. It
Wow.
all adds up.
I wonder
It
how
all
he
adds up.
picked elephant dung. Like, you don't, it's not like he would have quick access to elephant poop, you know?
This is what I'm saying. And like, Adam, can you actually check in what you're doing right now in the fact that is it that he incorporated like him painting elephant dung or he used elephant dung?
He mastered the art of elephant dung.
It
That
looks
looks
like
real.
Imagine
it is.
looks-
It
imagine
is
it
in
looks
the
like
painting.
Imagine it looks like the iPhone emoji, that little poop thing.
He's also famous for the phrase, spit just got real.
Yeah.
I said spit.
Yeah, so she doesn't make me edit.
Yeah.
Did you find an answer, Adam?
It's hard to tell.
Okay.
I think he
Um,
used it. Like,
Yeah, I
But
think
wouldn't
he used it. And
Because
and wait,
why would he be so
also-
selective if it wasn't just if he was just painting poop? Why wouldn't he just paint all the poop?
No, so he's utilized resin, beads, oil paint, glitter, lumps of elephant dung, and wait for it, cutouts from pornographic magazines as painting
No.
elements.
It's nice.
I feel like
His
Chris
work
and
has been classified as punk art. So there you have it.
I feel like Chris and I wouldn't hang out.
No, probably not.
Yeah, I feel like Chris and I wouldn't hang out.
I would classify it as dung art.
Yeah.
Nice one.
There you are. The next one is from our pop culture questions. Which calf-length pants, popular in the 50s and 60s, made a huge comeback in the 90s?
Sharon.
Go, Sharon.
Capris.
Now, I feel like, Adam, do you have a guess? I'm just going to say so. Okay, Adam, do you have a guess?
No.
Okay. Is capris the same as pedal pushers?
Yeah.
Okay, there we are. Go, Sharon. Good job.
Woo!
Yeah. My grandmother calls them pedal pushers.
Your grandmother also probably calls full length pants dungarees.
Slacks.
Slacks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dungarees. It's all about
Yeah.
the dung on the show.
What a full
today.
circle moment, Sharon.
Oh, crap.
Well, bravo, Sharon. You got one of them.
Good job.
Thank you. As we know, Adam, these questions are not easy. So to get one or close to one feels like
It's
a
a
victory.
big win.
I'd like to thank the Academy. for supporting my answers. Okay, so Russell Crowe
Mhm.
has admitted to what he's feeling about the new Gladiator film, which is straight up jealousy. And not a lot of it. He says at least a little jealous because of how much of an impact the original film had on him and his career. He said, and I quote, "It's something that changed my life, really. It changed the way people regarded me and what I do for a living. And, I've been very lucky to be involved in lots of big movies, but the legs on that film are incredible. Gladiator was a spectacular movie in every sense of the word. And I'm pretty sure he won an Oscar for it.
Yes, he
Um,
did.
He
and
did.
now the new movie's coming out. I'm guessing he's not in it.
He is not.
No, thank
This
you.
is the one where we're waiting on Denzel to finally
Right.
sign on the dotted line. Yeah.
Right. What's taking so long?
He's probably working out his like perks. like if he has to wear, what did you say? The
A
last
cod piece?
Yeah, that. When you say that word, it's like it takes me all the way back to Little Lenny. Like it's too much.
I just happened upon a picture of you in my phone from years and years ago of your actual reaction,
Yeah.
which is like this. of seeing the picture of little Lenny making his debut through the
Yeah.
soft leather hands of Lenny Kravitz.
Oh, those were the days. Back to you, Sharon. Yeah.
Oh man. Now, what were we talking about? The Gladiator movie. Now they do have some things that are locked in for the film, and I guess, like you said, we're just waiting for the codpiece wearing Denzel Washington. Now, I think codpiece, Kellen. I think of Cameo, the band.
Right.
So
Easy answer.
easy answer. Okay, so we'll step away from the jealous Russell Crowe, and hang on a second. Let me just find my notes. There
You
they
can
are.
do it. Let's go, Sharon.
Let's do it. There they are. We got sad news that Vivian Trimble of Luscious Jackson has passed away, which despite the fact that she'd been dealing and going through cancer treatments for a few years, she recently hit a complication, and so her people were not expecting this at all.
Mhm.
So Luscious Jackson, just one of the coolest all-female bands, and like I said, her people not expecting this. They said in a statement that she was a great friend and a gifted musician and choreographer, but it was being a partner to David and a mother to Nate and Rebecca that gave her the greatest joy.
Mhm.
So it's Luscious Jackson are one of those bands that take you right back to the mid 90s.
Yeah.
And good luck now that if you're unfamiliar with the name of the band, or if you're like, oh my God, I totally remember Naked Eye and other songs by them. And Naked Eye would be their signature across the board hit. Good luck getting that song out of your head.
Oh yeah.
All day. That
Earworm
song
central.
is total earworm, which is great. I mean, there could be worse things to have in your head.
Mhm.
With the naked eye,
So
like
good.
just
Apparently,
that.
by the way, if you chew gum, it helps you get rid of an earworm.
Really?
I was
Does
told
it?
that this morning, actually.
Really?
Yes, on our good friend Andrew Carter's show, because I was on doing my little segment with him, and they were talking about earworms. And apparently, if you chew gum, if you let the song finish, and there was a third thing
Yeah.
you can do. Yeah, because I guess if the song finishes, it's like complete in your brain or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and I think the other third thing was if you sing something else or like make yourself sing something
Yeah,
else.
that's what I usually go for. I've got my one song that I go to if I have an earworm. Works all the time.
Okay.
So that song isn't an earworm as a result?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, because I actually know all the lyrics to it. Like I could sing it like beginning to end. So I usually just sing all of it and I'm good to go.
Oh wow, cool.
Yep.
Is it? I hope it's not Stairway to Heaven because that's a long song.
No, it's Slow Dancing in a Burning Room by John Mayer.
I love
Which is
that
probably my
song.
favorite song of all time.
Really?
Yeah, the live version on his live album, Live in LA, that and Gravity. Ugh,
I
goosebumps every
love
time.
that song. It's
Yeah.
so like it's right in there.
Yep.
Love it.
Hmm.
Kelly, are you familiar with it?
I'm familiar with the Gravity, but not
That album, it's Continuum, right?
Yeah, so it's on Continuum.
Yeah.
But my favorite version is the one Where the Light Is, live in Los Angeles, his live
Ooh,
show. I
okay.
highly suggest you go listen to that whole album.
He's very good live.
Yeah, he's amazing. I've seen him once, cried probably 5 times during the show.
Really,
Oh.
eh?
Yeah, and he
Oh,
actually
cool.
did Slow Dancing in a Burning Room and Gravity back to back, and I just couldn't handle everything that was happening.
So I cried and I wet myself.
Oh,
I'm totally
And
going
I-
to listen to that when we're done.
please do. You're welcome in advance.
Thank you
Yeah.
in advance. Could it be that we are at the point of this fantastic experience where we do a 90s rewind?
It is that time.
Yeah.
Well, get set because we're going back
Woo!
to the beginning of the end. I think I've said this dramatic intro before. Springtime 1999. How about that?
Woohoo!
Faith Evans was having a great year professionally, certainly making up for a couple of rough ones after the notorious B.I.G. had died. But around this time in 1999, we'd be hearing her second single from an album that would only come out in full by the end of that summer. It was All Night Long, another earworm.
Mhm.
Smooth platform for her amazing vocals. But you know what? Faith Evans also contributed to another favorite song, When Whitney Houston Called on Faith Evans and Kelly Price to provide some backing vocals, helping her check in to or out of Heartbreak Hotel.
Oh, great song.
Great song.
Yeah.
Now, also, if I were to say Sixpence None the Richer, you know what? We're immediately back in 1999 and we immediately pucker up. Their dreamy signature hit with the jangly acoustic guitar was all over the radio and we were singing along to Kiss Me.
Yep.
Deborah Cox, how about her? She was wowing the
Oh.
crowd with Nobody Supposed to Be Here.
Such a great song. Oh my god.
Oh,
By the way, there's a killer remix of that, a dance remix of that, which Sharon loves the remix, except if it needs to be
Oh.
Thunderpuss.
But
But if you need good cardio music, have Deborah Cox's Somebody's You're Not Supposed to Be Here. Nobody's supposed to be here, the remix.
And Deborah Cox says, "Get the heck out of here.
Get the heck out of here.
What are you doing here?" The B-side. Who are you?
Get out.
Wrapping up a handful of tunes for a 90s rewind, some good old Backstreet Boys with the one thing that every girl wanted from them, which was all they had to give.
Oh,
Their love.
Yeah.
That's your 90s rewind.
Nice
Job
rewind.
so we have a listener question from the mailbag.
Ooh.
Kentucky Shane.
Oh, it wasn't.
Hi, Shane.
Yeah,
it wasn't. It wasn't
and by
Rachel.
the way,
That was
so-
the mailbag.
He wrote us also a really nice message saying he really appreciated our basketball talk last week, which I know Adam was worried about. But
Why was I worried about it?
well, you said we were like, this is a sports turn into a sports podcast.
I liked it. I love
Full
sports.
service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, Rachel very much liked learning about the women's basketball over in the States. So I thought that was great. So, and Shane, by the way, was able to give us a tidbit of information because we were trying to figure out who the highest paid coach was in NCAA basketball. And
Mhm.
it's Coach Calipari, and he is the highest paid coach, which I don't know if Shane actually wrote the amount, but I believe it's in the upper $2-something million. It might be more than that even. So,
I think I could coach.
yeah.
You would be great.
You
I
would be
think so,
great,
too.
Sharon. Yeah.
I'd be like, sit down, let's talk about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And so Shane's question for us this week is what are your favorite movies of the 90s? And Shane wanted to share with
Ooh.
us that his favorite movie of the 90s is Forrest Gump.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah.
And a double soundtrack
Mhm.
because every single song in the world was on that soundtrack.
Yeah. So I'll start with Sharon. What is your favorite movie from the 90s, Sharon?
Can we do like a round table? Because I know I'm going to think of other ones when
Sure.
we go around. So I'm going to throw down, just because it came to my head first, Good Will Hunting.
Oh, that's great. Was
I
that
still
97?
haven't seen it. It's been on my watch list for a long time.
It's so good. It's not
Yeah.
even 90s specific. It's just such a well-told story
Yeah.
that you're just root for every element of it. So I'm going with that first. Let's see what you guys got.
Adam?
I'm gonna go. I've got like two. I'll start with Pulp Fiction, which
Oh.
is an
Ooh,
absolute go-to. I'm a
yes.
huge Tarantino fan, and
That's a good one.
liked it better than Reservoir Dogs, so I'm gonna go with Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction was also a really well told story, just because
Yeah.
it seemed to go in typical Tarantino fashion. It seems like it's everywhere, but when you really look at it, it's
It all comes
so
down to, yep.
it comes back, goes that way, it comes back. It's like a
I just
3D
love his way
flower.
of storytelling. It's
Yeah,
it's great. So
nice.
yeah.
Cal?
I will go with Goodfellas.
Oh,
Ooh,
nice.
nice one.
Yeah.
I watched that movie less than like 3 months ago. I think during the holidays I watched
I think they put it
Goodfellas.
out every holiday season it's almost like the Die Hard movies, which again also great 90s movies. So yeah.
And because I will admit to doing a quick search before we came on today, one of my favorite movies is That Thing You Do.
Oh,
I'm not sure I've heard of that movie.
It's a great lesson in music history and the way things
Okay.
happen. It's Tom Hanks. Steve Zahn is in it. Ethan Embry's in it. And if you check the credits at the end of the movie, he plays the bass player of this group that in the 60s is, coming into their own. Like, oh my God, they have like a radio hit and then they go on a tour. It's a really fun story. The music is fun and innocent and catchy. But Ethan Embry's character is, the name of his character is TB Player, the bass player.
nice.
Love
So
it.
you realize, yeah, they never called him anything. Like, they never used his name. So yeah, that was I think like a love project for Tom Hanks, who was a fan of the music that he loved growing up, and he wanted to sort of tell that story about how fun it could be to be at that time. I love it.
What's your second one, Adam?
I actually because I did a little research just before and realized that the original movie came out in the 90s, but I've actually discovered that whole universe in a remake series that they did a few years ago. And it's called Fargo.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
So loved the series. I thought it was so great, and then watched the movie after. And of course the movie was great as well. So shout out to our Fargo people. Bra, 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 bra.
Oh, hey,
Amazing.
how you
And I
doing?
will-
There you go. The right Canadian accent.
I will finish off with supporting my girl, Janet Jackson, with Poetic Justice from 1993. And also just in that vein, Boys in the Hood as well.
Oh yeah, that's good. You see, we could do a whole show on just
Let's go around again.
movie talk. What else you
Yeah.
got? On my screen at this moment, I can see a little picture of a movie called October Sky with Jake Gyllenhaal and Laura Dern. Laura Dern, we could do a whole show on her, I think,
Yeah.
and movies that she's done. She's just so talented. But the fun fact for me for October Sky was that it's based on a true story, and that if you move the letters of October Sky around, you get Rocket Boys, which is basically what the story is about.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
I like that.
That's nice.
We're
We can
learning
keep going,
today.
but that's probably more than enough.
That was the longest episode they did.
Exactly.
No,
3
it wasn't.
hours.
Close enough, but not.
Oh, and last shout out, I have to give one to Keanu Reeves and why am I forgetting her name right now? But Speed. Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
Sandy.
Such a great movie.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
That's it. So a big thank you to all of our listeners who keep sending in the questions. We're having a great time with our listener mailbag. So keep it up.
Yes, well done. I'll throw down one more just because Happy Gilmore was very fun.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, right.
Adam Sandler just got the Mark Twain Prize for Humor, which was a great show. Did you guys watch that at all?
No.
All the clips are on YouTube at this point, so
Okay.
you can watch tributes made by Chris Rock, David Spade, Conan O'Brien, Jennifer Aniston, and Drew Barrymore. It's amazing. Like, it's really, really cool. They'll probably run it on PBS again, but for the first time, the original showing, it was on CNN, because who knows why. But like I said, you can find all the clips on YouTube, and it's really, really funny. So that's it, you guys. Thanks for finding us wherever it is that you do. And if you feel comfortable enough to ask us a question that will get us chatting even more, then feel free to do that. Reach out via social media, anywhere you can find us pretty much in the world. And weekly, you can find us here on 90s Now, still happening.